I need help speaking between songs. I get that message all the time at worship leader coaching. So I thought it's about time I make a video about it. Help speaking between songs. It makes sense that so many of us struggle with that because we're worship leaders, we're musicians, we're singers, we're not necessarily speakers. So it can be a little intimidating, but I don't want you to be intimidated by it. Listen, God will speak through you. You are a pastor, you are a leader, you're able to encourage the church. You have the ability in you. Don't think that you don't. God has anointed you as a leader. You can do it. But let me give you some practical tools today. The first is know what you're going to say before you're supposed to say it. Now, that may seem obvious to some of you, but there's been a number of worship leaders that I've watched that I can tell they didn't start thinking about what they were going to say until the chorus before they were supposed to say it. And you don't want to put yourself in that spot. Prepare what you're going to say, just like your pastor prepares sermons, just like you prepare the songs and you practice the songs that you're going to lead. Know what you're going to say before you're supposed to say it. The next thing, keep it short. Keep it short and simple. Don't feel like you need to preach an entire sermon. That's not the time for it. Between songs is a time for encouragement. It might be a time for short teaching. It might be a time to read scripture. It's not a time to go into something super in-depth most of the time. And so keep it short. Now, after you know what you're going to say and you know what you want to keep it short, practice it to make sure that it comes out right, to make sure that it is short. And I would say practice it how you're going to do it. So that means if you're going to practice it, if you're going to say this, make this statement with a band around you, then practice it in your rehearsal. If you're gonna speak while you're playing guitar, then play guitar while you're practicing. If you're gonna speak while you're playing piano, play piano while you're practicing. Practice it how you're going to do it. That's gonna make it a lot easier and a lot more familiar when you're actually in service. The last thing is once you say it, stop talking. Once you make your point, stop talking. Too often we just keep going and going and going because we don't know where to stop. And usually that's because we didn't practice it and we didn't come in knowing what we're going to say. So once you make your point, stop talking and go into the next song. And those are my points for today. So I'm going to stop talking. But if you have any questions or comments about what we've covered here today, don't hesitate to reach out. Leave a comment, send me a message, send me an email, get a hold of me in whatever way possible. I love connecting with worship leaders.